Guys, so kind of want to go over my play that I went and that I called out in the Discord today, kind of my mindset on why I was bullish on Netflix. Um and yeah, we're going to go over it, right? So, first things first, the day before the market opened, I was already looking at Netflix just because you see the overall trend, right? It's in a clear uptrend, right? And how do we know that? It's making higher highs and higher lows, right? So as you guys can see, this was the recent higher high, also aligned perfectly with that break of structure. If you guys know a little bit about structure, break of structure is usually when the trend is continuing, right? And it's just breaking that previous higher high to continue to make a series of new higher highs, right? So, um, right here, I was already looking at this because right here was my break of structure. Um, and now, if you guys know a little bit about my strategy a little bit, I love inside candles. It allows me to enter. So right here, it was one of those kind of calls where I was super confident in, just because my strategy aligned with my other strategy, which was that break of structure, and it gave me entry at 652.07. That's when I took calls, right? So those were two of my confluences. My strategies were lining up. Um, Now if you look at the the 5 minute, I called this play out at 9:40 a.m. Um, so I think I got filled right here on this uh slight bearish candle, right, on this little pullback. I think I got in right here, 652.07, and yeah, we ended up getting 670 calls. Let me check the stats. So yeah, I ended up calling this play at 9:40 a.m. Nflx 670 call, 531 171 fill price, right? So yeah, I had this target of 658, and the only reason why would you ask me, like, okay, so this target, it's like more than a $10 target move, right? If you guys know a little bit about 4-hour break of structures, the bigger the time frame the break of structure is, the bigger the move. So 658, to me, it was just realistic, right? These give you strong um moves if you're looking at a 4-hour break of structure. So that was just my level that I had at 658. And then yeah, it continued to go up. It actually went all the way to 664. Um, but yeah, let's continue. Now, when I got in, you guys can see my VWAP right here, which is this pinkish reddish line. I got in right here, which was above my VWAP. If you guys know a little bit about VWAP, is volume weighted average. Long story short, if it's above the VWAP, you're looking for calls, below puts. And yeah, as you guys can see, it was above my VWAP, and not only that, on the 15-minute, I was looking at Nflx very closely too. It was above these EMAs, which this would be my 21, this would be my 9. And it's basically the same thing. Above your EMAs, you're looking for calls, right? Below, you're looking for puts. So I was looking at this. I felt very good about this trade. And yeah, we ended up hitting 130% on this. My fill price was 1.71, and then per con 3.95, right? So that was about a $100 to $200 move per con. So yeah, do the math. And yeah, basically by the time I reached my target, I was probably in runners, right? If you guys know a little bit about how I control my contracts, is I take a 20% trim, 30% trim, and then by 40% I'm 95% out of my position, right? Meaning that by 40% I'm only in runners. um and yeah, so it kind of allows me to not really freak out on a pullback if it does happen, just because I already secured 95% of the bag, right? So any little small pullback, you know, you're just in a free trade basically, right? You're in runners. You're seeing how far your contract could go. And in this instance, I started trimmed more at 50, 60, I believe, and then 70. And then my last overall contract, I sold it at 130%. So yeah, overall, this was a nice, great trade. But yeah, I just had confluences on that. Now I did take AMD as well, but this was kind of a personal trade just because it was a fast, easy scalp trade. Now with AMD, I was already a little bit looking at puts just because the stock gap down, right? If you guys know a little bit about gaps, what I like to do is if a stock gap's down, unless the gap is weak, um, I'm only gonna look at puts, right? So yeah, right here, if you guys look right here, um, it was below my VWAP. I seen that this candle closed right below the VWAP, right? I got in right here, and then my original price target was all the way at this trend line. I'll show you the bigger picture, right? But overall, AMD gave me a 40% trade, meaning that by right here, I remember it was like right here was at 40%. So I was probably in runners. And I probably got stopped out on the runners as well. So, but overall, I love this trade. It was a quick, easy scalp. I think it literally only took like 5 to 6 minutes. And yeah, like 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, overall, I hit my original percentage TP, which is always 40% for me. 40% meaning that once my stocks or my contracts hit 40%, I'm 95% out. So yeah, this is what's worked for me. Now at the end of the day, I did get greedy, and I'll tell you what happened here and how greediness and not being disciplined enough to wait for entry bites you back. So, Tesla, I got in this trade 30 minutes before market closed. My kind of mindset on this was, okay, so I seen it above the EMAs, right? I seen this trend line. I was going for this trend line break, right? But I wasn't supposed to be in at all, right? Because my entry would be this 4 hour inside breakout, which would be 178.28. Did it ever cross that? No. So why did I get in? I was just being greedy, trying to get that early entry. And yeah, I wanted to go for the breakout of this trend line. And yeah, I ended up giving me a 20% loss. I didn't swing it at all just because I told myself, okay, if it can't hold these EMAs on the last 15-30 minutes of the market, then I am not going to swing. I'm just going to take a small L and re-enter the next day, right? So, yeah, that's basically what happened with Tesla. Overall, I got greedy. I didn't wait for my entry. So, you know, as long as you know what you're doing wrong, as long as you acknowledge it, then, just learn from those mistakes, build good habits, guys. Especially if you have a small account, take those base hits. Um, yeah, that's what personally helped me grow my account, made me become profitable. So, yeah, guys, I hope you guys kind of got of what my analysis and my mindset was in uh kind of going and taking these trades. But yeah, I hope this helped. Yeah.